Dog, go away. You're not welcome here. Communist of a dog I have. What's up?
It's a good way to start everything tonight.
Yeah. Did you guys have a good week?
Yes. How about you?
I'm just slowly getting better. I think ultimately I either have like a very mild ulcer or I have like severe gastritis, right? Like where I just screwed up my stomach so badly, but
Well, I hope you recover fully very soon.
doesn't matter, man. I'm used to it. At this point, I changed my diet already.
Okay.
So.
All right. Hey guys, it's 6:30. Let's go ahead and get right into it. It is time for another episode of Just the Guys. Guys, if you're just joining us, go ahead and hit that like button, share the stream, leave a comment if you haven't already joined the Shamers Club. I gotta get it right, man. My S is all over the place today. But yeah, definitely join the Shamers Club. I'm your host, Logic. Got my guys with me. Say what's up, Gimpy.
What's up, Gimpy?
There we go. And say what's up, Soldiers of Finance.
How's everybody doing?
Going well.
Kung Fu CJ out there, how you doing?
Wow. What's up, Kung Fu? Kung Fu's a member of the Shamers Club already. Shout out.
I'm the MCM super fan.
Yeah, he's definitely an MCM super fan. Man, did y'all catch the lady show last night?
Yes, I did. My wife made me proud. Scalp and anti-Semite.
Yeah. Man, the Jew hate is real now, man.
Dude, what I told you earlier, I just wish people would get over themselves, stop pretending they're hiding it in some intellectual argument, and just say it. I don't like Jews, and I don't like when Jews get special privilege. That's it. They would be simpler. That guy would have had an easier time last night if he just told the truth.
I mean, yeah, it's funny because KJ got him at the end because she was like, because when she asked him, did you vote for Trump? And then initially when he answered the question, he was like, well, I didn't vote for either candidate. You know, I didn't vote.
But he didn't vote.
Yeah, but then he said, I didn't vote. But man,
dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, people like that are like, you have a lot to say, but you chose to abstain from the system. Your choice was I picked nothing. So shouldn't you get no say after that in the end result? Like, shouldn't you be if you're not willing to pick a side in a two-party system, aren't you basically saying I'm okay with whatever happens next?
No, I would not say that. You are saying that I'm not, of the two choices here, neither is conducive with me. It's just like if my restaurant serves Pepsi and Coke and you don't want either, it doesn't necessarily say you don't want something to drink.
Yeah, but you can't complain about the restaurant all drinking Coke because you didn't choose. Dude. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a believer that's the childish mentality people have, but you get.
We disagree because, and I'll tell you what.
Choice in America means nothing. It's throwing away your vote.
You're starting off our weekly disagreement early.
Again, I see it different. When you choose not to vote in this system, you're basically saying I don't care about the outcome.
Did he say he didn't vote, or did he say
he didn't vote
for president?
He said he didn't vote.
Yeah, he said he didn't vote.
Okay, because I didn't vote for president.
Yeah, but you voted everywhere else. So
in 2008. Yeah, I voted, but I did not cast a vote.
That's not the same thing. He abstained. When you abstain from the two-party system, you're saying you're okay with whatever either party does. Because that's the only choices you get in this system is one or the other.
Okay, if he didn't vote at all.
Yeah, if you pick none, you're sorry. That's my thing. If you don't vote at all and you still want to have a say, I'm not in this country. Go to one of these, what do you call them? You know, unified, you know what I'm trying to say. Parliamentary, where you got to make like 10 parties get along to have a fine. Then you can choose not to vote. Then your vote matters every little time. Here, if you don't vote, someone else is going to win. Well, you automatically lose. You don't vote here.
Yep. You're right. So again, we're just starting out the show, guys. If you're joining in, just hit that like button, share, subscribe, guys. We're talking today, man. These black male leaders are really failing. I mean, Dr. Umar, I don't know if you call them leaders, though. I'm giving them a pass with that word, right? But you see Dr. Umar Johnson, he's begging. The Prince of Pan-Africanism, the Prince of Pan-Africanism, the Prince of Panhandlingism is now struggling. And then we have Wes Moore, who completely bombed on that Fox News interview talking about the National Guard or the National Guard, the president offering help to these cities.
Mayor 8-Ball looked good, though.
What do you mean?
Brandon Scott.
You said he looked good?
For his interview? Yeah, I mean, of course, I don't agree with anything he said in it, but I'm saying for a guy who's aspiring for higher office, he's handled his press on the DC stuff way better than anyone else, in my opinion.
I haven't seen much of him, but I mean, but
the interviews that I saw.
But these guys are smart, though. I mean, I think Brandon actually is a very smart and talented politician.
Well spoken, for sure.
I do think so.
Are we talking about
Brandon Scott?
Mayor
I must have woken up in an alternate universe.
No, I'm not. Look, I'm just talking about for them. Like, dude, you got to give credit where credit is due. These idiots are fumbling this DC thing hard. At least with Brandon Scott in Baltimore, he's managed to maintain the idiocy of the left without looking like a total fool in the massive success it's been down there.
If the two
That's
of
all
you
I'm
are
saying.
making the case that Brandon Scott is smart and is a contender for higher office, it is a sad commentary on the state of politics in Maryland.
I mean,
Maryland is sad.
What are you looking at? I mean, look at the state of politics.
I'm looking at Brandon Scott and the conditions in Baltimore City. That's what I'm looking at.
I mean, we've seen worse to go higher.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. But Baltimore is certainly not an example of good governance in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he handled two pressers well.
Did he? Because didn't he have one where Jake Tapper kind of dismissed him? Because he went in for this tired ass racial argument.
Okay, sure. If you see it that way, compared to all the other people on the DC stuff, he's the only one that there isn't an endless gag reel running as memes.
But he's talking amidst growing speculation that all of these mayors are complicit in what may be a RICO trial, fabricating crime stats.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just tell it like it is here. Okay. So yeah, the Dapper Don, John Gotti, he looked good doing it, but all the while, what he was doing ultimately ended him up dead in prison. Now, I'm not suggesting that Brandon Scott will be there, but I am saying that, look, this is lipstick on a pig.
Well, look at it. Put it like this. He's playing the game like he's supposed to play the game. He looks like he understands the rules. He knows what to say. At least his handlers know what to say. And he's the perfect puppet for the puppet master. So that's why I say, I mean, there's people who call the play and there's the people who run the play. Right. And I think Brandon Scott is the perfect person to run the play. He's running it just like the coach says.
All I wanted to say is he did good in one or two press conferences. Where this reached the peaks of this now is terrifying. Dude. I'm not all committed to say Brandon Scott is the next big thing.
No. I mean, everybody knows he's a clown. Don't get me wrong. Everybody knows he's a clown, right? But I'm just saying from a political standpoint and from a presentation, he's doing what he needs to do.
Yeah.
For Democrat politics, I guess you're right.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. But guys, we want to get right into this, man. I want to talk about this this Umar Johnson, man. You know, if you haven't heard, the FMDG, the Academy, the Prince of Pan-Africanism has been trying to open up this school for quite some time. And when you really think about it, you know, people supported it, I think with the right intentions, but as things get, move further along, things aren't really happening, right? So imagine someone who wants to put their children into schools that kind of hold on to their same values, things like that. So you might support this initiative, and imagine that money just disappearing. And not only that money disappearing, But now that your child that you wanted to send that school now has children of their own, right? You think about this, how long it's taken to get this school off the ground, the money he's raised, and XYZ. So I want to go into this because Anton Daniels made a compelling offer, I think, to Dr. Umar. And I put in the title of this video, the Prince of Pan-Africanism is set to join the struggle streamers, because he calls anyone who talks about him in a negative way, I guess, or a counter way. I don't want to call it negative because there's two sides to every coin. So there's a view and then there's a counter view. So he talks to he suggests that anyone that has a counter opinion or counter view to what he says, he calls them struggle streamers. So it seems that Dr. Umar is going to be joining the struggle streamers pretty soon. What was that?
YouTubian struggle streamers.
The YouTubian struggle streamers. So I think we're part of that club. At least I'm trying to at least get to acceptance in the struggle streamers for now, because we might have some get some name recognition, but because of that, shout out to Positive Vibes, shout out to S Files. We see you guys in the chat. So let's go ahead and talk about this. I'm gonna go ahead and play this, and guys, just jump in when you feel the urge, because the Prince of
that this guy didn't have anything set up outside of his personal bank accounts, right? So he talks about stream where he talks about that they seized all his shit because he didn't do it the right way. He didn't make LLCs or 10-3 or charities. He didn't do anything right, this guy.
He's going to be educating these kids, right?
How?
This is the one where
open up a company. Like, dude, I wouldn't trust my kid within 100 miles of this guy. Like his whole, like anybody who trusts him after this, he openly admits to fiscal malfeasance and incompetence, to tax malfeasance and incompetence. He says, I don't know anything about it, but I got the notice back in April. It's August.
Let's listen to what he says. Right?
I'm sorry.
Let's what he says.
Wow.
FDMG Academy bank accounts are still frozen. FDMG Academy bank accounts are still frozen. Dr. Umar personal bank account is still frozen. Dr. Umar personal bank account is still frozen. Brothers and sisters, we are fighting this war against FDMG
no, you're grifting
and Dr. Umar Ifatunde.
So I think he's actually tired now. He's only said things twice.
No.
We are fighting this war against FDMG and Dr. Umar Ifatunde. We were supposed to get a refund within 4 days of our accounts being shut down. We were supposed to get a refund within 4 days of our accounts being shut down. We still haven't got our refund.
So like, what does that indicate, right? Because usually, like, if an account is shut down
with criminal activity and tax evasion on all his accounts, that the government isn't letting the bank refund his money because they're holding it in seizure in case they have to take it because he can't pay the tax bills he owes. This dude was not fiscally responsible with a single dime anyone ever sent him in the history of his grift, and it's all coming out now. And we're supposed to sit here and feel bad for him? He's a YouTube grifter who sold black people a dream that was never going to come. This guy is a liar and a cheat and a thief, and you know it because he practiced fiscal malfeasance. He built a school this way that it could all be locked up in a heartbeat. Dude, they start schools all over this country every year. People start communities, pods. No one seems to have the problems this guy has.
I mean, that's a good point. Like, why not start with like maybe a homeschool pod or something like that? Because
that's how every private school starts. It's 10 kids and a teacher the first year. Then it's 30 kids and 3 teachers. Then all of a sudden you have 5 grades. But he didn't do any of that. He grifted people. He begs for money. He's a stereotypical product of this day and age. He is selling snake oil via YouTube to people, and everyone buys in. He has shown 0 results. And all he has is lost money.
All right, so I want you guys also to continue to just kind of pay attention to the setup too, because like there's like like he's mastered this. Like Dr. Umar has mastered this process of, I guess, saying he's oppressed and I would say it's pulling on the heartstrings, but it's like identifying with. I think you said it last week, Gimpy, about just wanting to complain, right? And he's giving people something to complain about. And once you identify with that, you. All right, so I want you guys just to kind of listen to his tone as well.
Scumbag.
Still haven't got our refund. So not only are the accounts frozen, make sure y'all hit my Venmo and my PayPal. PayPal.me/Umar the psychologist. PayPal.me/Umar the psychologist, or tap my Venmo.
So how is he doing tax deductible donations to these?
Well, here's the thing. Either he only has one bank account, which is kind of crazy.
He does. He only has one. He admitted it. Did you not see that stream where he sits there and talks about it when they froze everything? He talked about how he had no separation between the school and his private assets, and they.
Well, I thought that was just they were at one bank, right? They were just at one bank.
I think we've all
between him. He doesn't have any mechanism.
Instance where, we get a call from the bank, or maybe you go to use your card and it doesn't work, okay, and you immediately call your bank. Or sometimes I've had an instance where they called me. And they said, "Are you trying to make a purchase at an outfitter in Ottawa, Canada?"
Yeah.
Yep.
And I said, "No." And they said, "All right, look, we're going to have to shut your card down. Not my account. We're going to have to shut your card down. You can either go to the nearest branch and get a temporary card. We're going to send a new card out to you. And it's all good." Okay. But they're not shutting your whole account down. If his accounts are shut down, there's only one entity that can shut accounts down across financial institutions, and that is the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
What's the reason they shut down accounts? Because they're freezing your assets to hold them in place. Why? Because you owe the government money.
Correct. So there were always red flags with Umar. And anybody who donated to him ignored those red flags. This man has no board of directors. Okay. It's always been him. It's never been about a school. It's always been him. He's the brand. Okay. No board of directors. No fixed address. I mean, he's doing this from his car.
Yeah.
All right.
He's always in his car, it seems like.
And that's the problem. Okay. If you are setting up,
he's that guy with
if you want millions of dollars in order to set up, of all things, a school, then people need to see structure behind that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there needs to be a point where you're taken so legitimately that you are the face of this thing, but there's an organization around you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
There's never been that with Umar.
There's never been. He's a Ponzi scheme, dude.
I don't even think it rises to that level.
No, it's just a straight grift. He's just selling, like, dude.
Right. It's just
people who donate to him.
Ponzi would take money from older investors.
Yeah.
From newer investors rather to
pay older one. Right. Yeah.
Umar is not giving anything to anybody.
No, right? That's my point. It's like, dude, he's selling, like, the people who donated to him, they lied to themselves the way people lie to themselves today in order to sell themselves their own thing. Because all he ever sold was this Pan-Africanism grift. Right. There was never anything real behind it, substantial. Where is the work that he's done for the amount of years he's had his hand out? Right. Show me it. Show me the communities that can reflect it. All he has is a following, a subscription. He's an influencer. He's a Pan-African influencer who sold a dream, and everyone was buying it without hesitation instead of saying, hey, maybe someone should check this guy's credentials, right? He can start a school. Why? Because he's a YouTube influencer? Because Mr. Beast made $1 million, $10 million, does stuff, right? Like, dude, people just assume now that they see your face enough on YouTube, which anyone anywhere can do, and if you say the right things, they will just send you money.
Another thing that he has done, really ramped up over the last few weeks, is he is openly castigating people who have not donated, telling them they have no right to ask any questions about what's going on if they haven't donated.
Well,
now,
that's always been his thing, though.
Yeah, it has been his thing, but he's ramped it up. He's ramped it up to a fairly well. Does the United Way do that? Does the self-CPR? No, they don't.
All the time.
They do not tell you.
I'm messing with you.
They do not tell you can't ask questions.
In fact, they offer more information to the prospective donor than the already donors get. People already get less care than prospective donors with proper charity.
So Gimpy, you asked a question earlier, and this is a good question. Does he have a 501c3? You know what I'm saying?
It should be able to be looked up, though, right?
It should
that's
be.
The whole thing. He can't even tell you the difference between the two accounts. It's just two accounts in his name. That's all it is. That's what you don't understand. Go back to the first video when the tax thing drops on him and they freeze all his accounts, and he's begging and he's crying and he's panicking. He tells you to your face, if you're paying attention to what he's saying, that my personal account and the school account are linked because I'm the sole prop on both accounts. I'm the named person. So when they came after me directly for entity tax on something I directly own with no indemnification with a 501c3 or LLC or anything, he has nothing. He has just been putting checks in the bank and evading paying taxes on the money.
So, but here's the thing, like he will continue to get donations from people, right? Because you got to think, there's always a new kind of set of people. There's a new, like you always have a new customer to sell to, right?
Suckers born every minute,
right? Yeah. So you have someone else that you can sell to, and what he's doing, right? He's setting up that new customer, especially the one that's ignorant of how taxes work, ignorant of how property acquisition works, ignorant of how construction works, right? And still that person that wants to identify with the complaint, that wants to identify with the struggle. So I want to keep playing a little bit more of this because I want you guys to hear kind of the setup again, of where he's going with this.
Text me for the links to donate to FDMG. Text me for the links to support Dr. Umar, 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. On August the 5th, brothers and sisters.
So you're going to tell the story.
On August
if you haven't heard it already.
The city of Wilmington, Delaware took out a notice to auction off the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy campus for unpaid vacant property registration fees. I repeat, on August the 5th, the city of Wilmington, Delaware took out a lien to auction off the campus we bought, the campus we've been working on for 6.5 years.
Let me stop him right there. On August 5th, he was notified, or he finally became privy to what was going on, because there's no way a state is going to officially notify you of something on the 5th and then say they're going to seize your property.
You gotta listen. You got he's about to tip his own hand with that. You're right, because he's going to tell you he learned back on April 15th. He's literally gonna fucking say, I had no idea. But back on April 15th, when I first found out about the defaulted taxes I owe, back on April 15th, this is what I'm talking about. People are just disregarding the fact that these grifters tell you the grift to your goddamn face. They're so arrogant. They're so self-important. This guy thinks that his fans should support him through his grift, should support him through his tax evasion trial, should support him while he's locked up in white-collar prison, and he's going to get YouTube access the whole way through, and until Cash App and Venmo deplatform him, he will get paid. And that is how it works in 2025 in the YouTube super cycle. This man is one of the kings of the YouTube super cycle, whether you like him or not. and idiots open up their books to him every single day. It's like Scientology has turned into cancer across.
Well, and don't be too hard on YouTube, because there are people.
It's not YouTube's fault. It's our fault.
No, and there are a lot of people, us included, right? But there's some people out there that are forensically tearing him apart.
Oh yeah,
and really examining this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. But go ahead. Finish.
But that's part of the cycle. That's the Kino Casino. That's just more of the YouTube ecosystem. So there's the content creators on the high level. There are the mid-tier content creators, and then there's everybody else, the rabble. Then there's a whole counter system of there's the highest level content haters. Then there's the mid-tier content hate, like Kino Casino. And then you have the whole dark side of YouTube that make up all these panel shows like CT stuff and all the spinoffs from that exist, and all these conspiracy theorists wailing at the screen and having their 5 friends up with their 40 viewers and their 600 subscribers. Dude, he is the archetype for the model the grifter follows. He is the modern day snake oil salesman.
Hey, well, let's continue, man, because we're on the struggle we're the YouTuber struggle stream ourselves right now. We're using Dr. Umar. There's no shame in what I'm doing right now. We're using Dr. Umar's name to talk about this stuff, but we also want to bring back shame because one thing I find is that, especially like when it's almost like that idea when like a family member does something wrong, you have to almost take up for the family member despite their action. And it's like we have to stop doing that. We have to just say right is right, wrong is wrong, and get over this color thing, race thing, Pan-Africanism thing, and start calling a spade a spade. So I'm gonna continue.
I was not notified of this. We were not notified of this. This past weekend, without an email, this past weekend, without a letter in the mail.
I mean, see these lines right here. It invokes the church. It invokes the black church in particular, because it rhymes. It just makes you feel good. Well, I mean, them people that like, especially the
masses.
Yes, there we go. That's a great way to put it. And he's a master at this.
Yeah, but like, do you understand? Hold on, stop it. Why? What is it? It's a random, arbitrary thing to say without an email. Is there an email tied to a property? The property, for legal purposes, exists on a deed, on a piece of paper in the county clerk's office. The way they notify the property is by posting it to the property. That's the way the law works. Period. Hard stop.
And sending
telling a lie to his people to garner sympathy, like there should have been an email, there should have been a letter. There should be, and then he'll go to tell you he had no idea. And then on April 15th, when they told me about the tax debt, and then on April 15th, watch, like this is, I hate this motherfucker.
Guys, so this is like furthering my point that we talked about like quite a few weeks ago. There was a live stream that, there's the image of the minstrel on the thumbnail. But black people are entertaining, man. This guy is funny. Like when you really think about it, this guy is entertaining. He's funny, but the problem in the black community is that we try to do everything on our own. Now, this guy, I think he's grifting the entire time, but part of what he says is like, I only want black, people involved with this particular project. Now, maybe if he hired a Jewish accountant, I don't know. Maybe if he hired someone else to help with this aspect of the project, he wouldn't be missing these letters in the mail. No, he doesn't missing these emails.
Yeah, but you understand when you're lying now, because
what he really
hold on, one at a time, guys.
What he really wants to do is just somewhere along the line, this just became income for him.
Yeah.
Right. So he can't afford to hire a Jewish lawyer, accountant right now.
Because the Jewish accountant will make him file taxes.
Right. Right.
All right, let's continue.
Dude, this is
without a phone.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is what enrages me about the modern day. Like, this is still like, it's something that it's like, even with my attitude that I don't get upset by household appliances anymore, right? That these are all toasters and I'm not going to be bothered by it. Dude, how stupid is society to to fall for this guy's grip. He's like spray painting it on the wall in bright red letters. I am stealing from all of you. Give me more money.
Well,
like, dude,
again, if you
grift of all time, he's the snake oil salesman, rides into town with his little cart, throws it all open, has his little assistant come out with their fake sickness.
Well, there's a phrase we learned
and then runs off as the cops are chasing him, dude. It's almost cartoon character. Like, this dude is a living, breathing cartoon. Look how he dressed. He has a fucking penis hanging from his neck. Dude, he's a literal cartoon character. He designs every aspect of what you're seeing, from how it's angled in the car. He sits there, he gets it all right. You know how people work for the camera shot and what they dress and how it looks. This guy puts every effort, and he couldn't pay his fucking taxes. That's what's going to get him, is that he micromanages every aspect of his universe, but he couldn't pay his taxes.
All right, let's continue.
Put a notice on the door handle of both of our schools.
Yo, let me know if y'all want me to buy the FDMG, ABCEFG Academy building, just for sentimental reasons. Because the amazing thing is, one thing that I know about business is that you're on top of everything. I know every single property I own, property taxes on, all of that. You get on top of everything. This is so funny. It's hilarious to watch this unfold. It's sad, honestly, more than anything.
They literally send you the bill.
I don't want to be a person that's actually piling on as far as saying, "Oh my God, I want you
the property address,"
because the people paid for this. Y'all spent all of y'all hard-earned money. Y'all believed in him.
Yeah. So Anton Daniels offers. I think he's. I guess if enough people say, Anton, hey, buy the building, I think he may buy it.
He doesn't want to do that because that building was a munitions factory. It's a brown field. So that's the other thing. Umar would have to do
like $1 million in reno
worth of mitigation at least. Okay. Whoever ultimately buys that property, I guarantee you they're going to tear it down. And they're going to develop something new on it. He can't occupy a building without brownfield mitigation.
So I guess from that angle, then there was no hope for this school to ever open anyway.
No, dude, he did it wrong. Someone taught him the very basics of real estate tax sheltering, right? So let me lay this out for you. God, I can't believe I'm the only actual criminal in this room. Anyhow, if I'm making money, cash money, that would count as 1099 money, to keep it simple so that everybody, right? I know I'm using the wrong comparative, Tyrone, but you understand why I'm saying that. It's money you owe all the tax on. There's no deferment. It's nothing. You have this pile of money you've been grifting. You've been stealing from people with cash apps, super chats, and all the entities are digital. So they'll definitely report that they paid you out. So you have to figure out a way now how to retroactively hide all the money you burned through till someone realized to tell you that you got to pay taxes on all of it, and you get caught up. All of a sudden, I'm going to make a school. Why? Because someone taught me if I make a non-for-profit, own property through it, I can shelter every penny I ever set, and having to put the millions of dollars to make that school a school and just start hiding my money in a building I never lift a finger. The same way the mob would have done it with running down buildings and burying money to clean it, to wash it, right? Street money to turn it to legitimate money. They do it through cycling it through by saying they're paying bills to their own vendors. But the problem is he doesn't have the infrastructure to do it all. So he was just trying to shelter the money in the building to hide it. But guess what? He didn't pay the tax on the building. So he ran out of time to shelter anything in it. And now they want everything, so they took everything because he has
doesn't that take time? I mean, this is years. Like, government doesn't move that fast.
Not if you buy a building with back taxes owed on it.
Gimpy, listen. You're approaching this from a methodical Jewish perspective, where you actually sit down and think about things, right? And say cause and effect, and if I do this, then it might work this. No, this is not what Umar Johnson did. Umar Johnson took the hood route and said, I don't want to work, okay, while I'm building the school. So how can I maintain a lifestyle and also build the school?
Building the school.
But I think initially that he
He's a
may have
tax
wanted to
collector.
legitimately do it.
To hide
But
all the money.
2 or 3 years into this, okay, it just became a solid grift, man. And
It was always a grift.
like most criminally minded people, they don't see an end. They don't know how to wrap it up. Okay. So like the only way to wrap this up would have been to open a school. Okay. But he thought this would go on forever. He was making money. All he had to do was get out there on social media and make a plea for his Cash App or whatever. And a bunch of lonely middle-aged black women would open their wallets. Okay. But now that's coming to an end. It's simple as that. It's not. See, Gimpy, Umar Johnson doesn't know how to spell labyrinthian. He doesn't even know what that word means. Okay. So it's like, I see what
that's what I'm saying. It's someone told it. No, like that's what I mean. What I see here is exactly what you're saying. Maybe I'm not verbalizing it correctly, but in my psychotic cartoon brain, I see a guy, he's doing this grift. He was never in it for anything else. It was always a grift. He came up with the idea for the school as part of his script. He's halfway creative, this guy. He knows some people. He has some smarty-arty friends out there, and he has some followers that are smarty-arty people. So I'm sure somewhere along the way, someone mentioned something to him about, dude, you've been collecting all this money. Have you been filing your taxes? And he realized he hadn't. And then someone told him something about real estate, sheltering money, right? Like the different things you could do with real estate to hide income and whatever, the way that worked, right? Like funneling money through a piece of property that needs to be repaired or whatever. But he didn't know. You're right. He had no idea. So he just did it blind.
Right.
And the problem is he bought a building that owed taxes to begin with. There was a back for vacant for as long as he had to pay that he never paid. And because he never paid that, he can never use the building or the land to claim. They just froze everything down. And when he went to try and do something, they locked everything up on him. That's when he violated the laws, when he stopped paying, and then he continued to try and leverage. And at that moment, they freeze everything on him because they no longer think he's going to pay. Tariq Nasheed, it's the buck breaking. Yeah. To imply that a whole race of people are that for a grift is far worse.
All right. Let's. I want to go back and look at one more video from Dr. Umar, because this was an older video and this was on the Philip Scott show. But I just thought it was very interesting. Again, he's not inviting help from any other community, and he's demonizing anybody that says anything against him. But the biggest thing he does is attempt to pull on the victim mindset. He attempts to pull on that complaining culture and, to make his case. So I'm gonna play this.
So far, we raised $250,000. I'm gracious, but I'm not content, because I know y'all got a lot more to give me than some $250,000.
Do you not hear
Wilson
that?
Killed Michael Brown. White folks gave him $300,000 in 3 weeks for his defense.
Do you not hear that? I'm great. Yeah. I'm gracious, but I'm not content. You can give me more than 250,000.
So I also have
that into a conversation you were having with the supporters of Metro Conservative Media. Would you talk to them like that?
No. But I also have that that whole idea about the black woman being the god of black community. And I'm constantly reminded of that joke, but I forget who the comedian is, but it was Adam and Eve in the garden, and he's like, Adam's talking to Eve and say, hey, we have everything we need. We have all our unlimited provisions. We say what we want and we can get it. And then Eve says back to Adam, but it's not enough, is it? So that attitude is like ingrained in this, kind of culture. And that's why I constantly believe that the black woman is the god of at least, the black community. And this guy, I mean, he clearly worships black women anyway.
He has to do that. I just sent you something, by the way.
Okay.
that it's satirical, but you might want to bring it up. He has to worship the black woman because the black woman, that's where he's getting the money from. Okay.
Yeah.
So he has to play that role. Meanwhile, we've got actual black women that are coming out and saying, hey, I had a relationship with this guy. The guy doesn't treat his mother right. He has kids out of wedlock that he doesn't have a relationship with. So all of this is fake, phony. And look, I mean, what else do you expect from someone who's hell-bent on scamming? There have been plenty of people, Gimpy, you alluded to this, that have started schools within the time frame that and look, you went through 2020. Why don't you do this, Umar, Ufantunde, or whatever you call yourself? Why don't you create a curriculum that parents can use at home? But no, he's like a Pied Piper. He wants your children.
He's never building anything. Dude,
right.
If this is him before, look, you're proving my point, Logic, sir. This video proves what I'm saying, because without ever seeing this video, I said he always was only about the money. Everything is all a mechanism for the money. Here he is telling everyone, give me more money. What you've given me isn't enough. Dude, if I earn $250,000 through crowdsourcing, that should be more than enough for me to go and turn it into whatever I need to do with it.
And he probably couldn't even tell you what the line item budget was for the 250,000, right?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. It's like this guy was a grifter from the start. He never cared about anything else, and everyone who gave him money is stupid as fuck. And that's my stance. And you should feel stupid. And everyone who looks at him now and regrets what they've done, I hope you feel it in the depths of your soul so you never act that dumb again.
So shout out to come through CJ real quick with the $2 super chat. Gimpy is right. Umar, listen to the Moors. I appreciate that.
Here's the other thing for folk, because one of you mentioned earlier that there could be more folk that come in and want to donate to this guy. Look, the school building and the school curriculum, those are two totally different projects that should be managed by two different groups. He's managing it all. He's showing you, oh, we put in a toilet. Okay. And some people are mistaking that for actual progress. This isn't your house where you put in a new toilet in the powder room. Okay. How many toilets are in a school? 50? I don't know. But this is another testament to the fact that the guy has no idea what he's doing. You need a project team to manage the building and what needs to be done there. And then you need a project team to go out and figure out how you're going to hire people, what you're going to pay them, what the curriculum will be. Okay. All of that needs to be done. Not to mention all of the compliance that you need to do with the local, state, and federal government.
I think hold on, Gabe. I think these people need to go back and look at the story of a pencil, right? Consider how many skill sets, talents, expertise, shipping, logistics, all those things that are required to produce the everyday writing utensil that we take for granted. I mean, the rubber comes from one place. The tin metal for the eraser top comes from another place. The wood is sourced. The graphite, all this is sourced from different places. But that same principle applies to project management and real estate development, right? You have construction elements. You have financial elements. And if you're building a school, you have curriculum, HR, payroll. All of these things, right, need to be included as you're going through the project. And again, for whatever reason, these folks like this believe that they can do it all themselves. I mean, you might be smart, but you ain't that smart.
It's because
again,
most people don't understand how the world works.
Absolutely.
They don't get how complex. Like when they sit down and enjoy a meal at the end of the day, they don't see anything other than the food on the plate. Okay. They don't see supply lines. They don't see tariffs on beef. They don't see processing. They don't see any of this. Okay. Umar is the symbol of American education. Credentials.
Hold on, you got to say that 3 times. Hold on, soldiers. You got to say that 3 times.
Right. What did I say?
Umar is the symbol
of American education.
Umar is
the symbol of American education.
Umar Ifatunde is a symbol of American education. A lot of credentials, no substance whatsoever. Doesn't understand how anything works. He thinks that you can just buy a building and boom, school.
See, dude, no, again, you all are playing the wrong game here. You guys saying to me that I'm thinking methodically like a Jew, which is true, always. Thank you. But it was never about any of that. He was always grifting. He was never going to build a school. He was never going to have a thing. There was never a curriculum. There was never this or that. It was always a means to an end for him to line his pockets with dumb people's money. Hard stop.
All right, let's continue. Real quick. I want to get to a couple of times. I want to get to Maryland, Maryland and Colin Kaepernick, and I also want to get to Wes Moore. So, we, Dr. Umar, man, let's get him.
And Dr. Umar Johnson is trying to build a state-of-the-art school for black boys that y'all all know I need. And after 6 months, I only got $250,000. Trifling ass black people.
$60,000. Trifling ass. Dude, I'm sorry.
Now, mind you, he's at the Ramada. Hold on. He's at the Ramada. When's the last time you've been to a Ramada?
Oh my God.
No, hold on. Time out. Let me back that up even a little bit further. When's the last time you've been to a Ramada and expected big money donations?
Right. That's a great point, actually. Right.
What's up, Kung Fu?
What's happening, fellas? I just wanted to jump on because I'm getting ready to go on another podcast in about 20 minutes. And to back Gimpy up as far as what he's saying. Basically, every every journey that I ever took as far as business always had a team. You have to create a team. You can't building a school. You can't do that by yourself. You can have a vision, but now you got to share it with people you trust that can help you get there. This guy was listening to the Moors. I guarantee you, the Moors are all about squatting and taking advantage of the United States Constitution, basically. If he would have gotten his nonprofit before he even bought the school, he probably would have been in much better shape. I just did a nonprofit for my club, which is basically called The Forge. It's 3 different organizations forging together to create events. It's a bunch of us. It's not just one person.
Yeah, but people don't understand that aspect of it, right? I mean, and it's not. I think a lot of people like Dr. Umar understand it has to take more than it's more than one person, but it's who that person is, right? So Dr. Umar will go on a bunch of podcasts. He'll get a bunch of name recognition, brand recognition, and the internet makes him look. That's easy work because it makes him look more established than what he is. You do a bunch of shows, you do a bunch of podcasts, you get a couple clickbait, topics, a couple hits. He says a couple of things right every now and then, but when it comes to building the team, he's not building a team of people with diverse backgrounds and expertise. He's building a team.
If it's just for this is what I don't understand.
No, he's built so he's building it with people. Well, not build. I wouldn't say building the team. It's almost like he goes out and get crackhead workers, right? Because they
has a multi-level marketing scam selling the black hope to people. That's it. He sells black hope in a bottle, calls it a school. Dude, if you really were opening a school, the first thing you have to do is demonstrate that you can teach kids. You would have to have a curriculum. You'd have to have a way to instead. Then you would have to, when you bought the building, you would have to have a plan, right? You would have to go get certification from the state if you want the things to count. There's all sorts of stuff you have to demonstrate you're doing. He never demonstrates any of it. He never does any of it. You guys keep giving him, look, it's not
no, I'm not giving him anything. But what he does, he's a master at emotional manipulation.
Something. The man was never going to do anything. He was taking everybody's money and drinking and whoring and doing everything wrong in the world with it. And now he got caught because he was so dumb that even in the scheme to try and shelter himself from getting caught is what gets him caught. Had he just stuck to grifting and putting it in his pocket, it might have taken 10 years before the IRS caught up with him. But because he's such a dumbass,
well, it has taken
during the lifetime. What? Well, I mean,
let's think about this. Let's think in terms of solutions, though. Like what? I mean, I think we mentioned some things because, again, you know, it's one thing to complain about it, but you know, what should we do, right? You know, and I think having the school is something that's necessary in the community. However, right, what are some things that we should be doing? Like, what are some ideas that we may have moving forward?
Reject all grifters, okay?
Yes.
Just because somebody comes into your community with a cadence like a preacher, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We're not examining what he's saying, okay? A lot of black people get tied up in cadence and, you know, rhymes. White Democrats even know that. That's why they'll go to churches and they'll pantomime that. Hillary Clinton did that. Joe Biden did that. So,
AOC.
Right. So we got to reject. We got to first look at ourselves, okay, and say, how do we allow this to happen? All right, and then be willing to say, hey, we effed up. We need to ask more questions. We need to demand the existence of a board of directors. We need quarterly meetings and reports. We need these things. Okay?
If you have a non-for-profit, you have to be able to line account for every penny that has moved through the non-for-profit. If you can't account for exactly every penny, you will go to jail and you will pay fines, because that is the thing with artist on. So again, if he had this shit, there'd be much different things going on right now. Even if he was trying to do this, right? I'm not saying that this isn't what he's telling everybody. But if he was trying to do this, there'd be more information in the world for us to hang, to be true, to prove that he's telling the truth, because this would all be available forward facing. What's going on is a property's being auctioned off and he's the sole guy on it. And it's for fees that he owed from the minute he bought it. It was existing fees that came with the building that have just been growing.
Yeah. So Kung Fu, what is this? What's the solution, man? Because I know you got to hop off of here, but what's the solution, man?
This for him right now is he has to go back and pay the fines, get his bank accounts unfrozen, do it the right way. He's got to backtrack and then do it the right way. Right now, the FBI probably looking at him right now because of the stuff he was doing. This is how I got hemmed up. I'm doing the right thing here in Georgia, and the company I'm working with in Maryland is stealing people's money. They stealing people's money, and I get caught up in it because my name on the audits, the analysis, and the reports.
Sarbanes-Oxley. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So one thing I see, guys, man, first off, we have to stop being emotionally pulled into this. And I know in general, it's not men that's doing this. It is men that want to get laid or think that's the way to get laid by just kind of catering to the queen, whatever. But the big thing is we really have to start investigating this stuff and stop just kind of relying on the racial aspect or the complaint aspect of it, right? Because I think if people ask more questions earlier, and even when asking questions really kind of push back on, well, I'm not going to give you a response unless you donate, like stop giving them money, right?
Yeah.
It really is kind of on the community that support him, right? Because in no way, right, if he wasn't getting donations from the message he was spewing, like, he would change the tune, right? If what you're doing isn't working, then you alter your method. So what he's showing the world right now is that I can continue to make up stories. I can continue to complain. I can continue to say it's the fault of the government or fault of Medea or the fault of whomever, the white man, and continue to get money, right? So I think the moment we start in really investigating these issues, not even investigate, just question, right? And then that little spidey sense you get, trust it, trust your gut, because if it ain't right, then let's move on. So I'm about to shift gears, and we're going to talk about Maryland for a little bit. Huh?
Before we move on, I want to ask, last week you were all fancy. Now you're back to fancy homeless. I see boxes in the back. Are you moving again?
No, man, I actually moved the boxes because I was looking for some stuff. So I unhid the boxes. Guys, I need you guys to help me out. Go ahead and join the Shamers Club. And, because we're bringing back shame, join the Shamers Club. Like the show, share the show. Share this with, if you know Dr. Umar, go ahead and share it with him. And, just tell him we are attempting to join the YouTuber struggle stream.
YouTubian struggle streamers.
YouTubian struggle streamers.
We want them to come over here so we can yell at them for being a fraud.
Yeah, but also, we may actually have a welcome plaque for them coming soon. So we'll actually hold up the welcome plaque. Welcome to the YouTubian struggle streamers. And, hey, welcome, Dr. Umar Johnson, because the jig is up on you. So the next, I want to go to Maryland, because this week I went to, there's a big conference in Maryland called the Maryland Association of Counties. A lot of states have these. They happen all over the country because there's a national organization called National Association of Counties. But the Maryland Association of Counties is a yearly event. It's held in Ocean City, a big political event, the counties come together, show their wares. If you're a business vendor, you can go out there and show what you have. And, but I was out there. I do work in cybersecurity. So we were out there, showcasing our wares and things like that at the conference. But while you're in the area, you tend to do things to, just go to the events, right? And the events do tend to have a lot of politicians, political, and they're all on the event calendar. So Prince George County Executive Asia, I think that's how you say your name, Asia Brave Boy, had an event. Aisha Brave Boy had an event, and this is a fundraiser. So at this event, they're expecting big money donations, and special guests. Westmore showed up the event. But there was also a surprise guest, and that surprise guest was none other than, hold on, let me get it up here. None other than Hall of Fame quarterback, or let us say shamed quarterback, Colin Kaepernick. Now, this is a picture I took with my phone. It was a little far away. Not really, but it was
you can't
crowded.
miss that bush from no.
Yep. So right here is Senator Van Hollen. He can show up for Colin Kaepernick, but can't show up for the residents of Maryland. And of course, you have Zess Moore, in the background, and a little closer up shot, Zess with his head down, and then Colin Kaepernick right here. But I was looking at this, so I made a post here. And I said, Maryland Democrats are so weak. They had Colin Kaepernick show up to give a speech. And I really feel like it was that kind of Dave Chappelle moment of where's Ja, right? Because, if you think about all the issues that are happening in Maryland, with the energy bills, what I'll show you in a second, energy, the crime, the education system, it's like, yeah, let's go ahead and get Colin Kaepernick's input on this. All right, so I want to play this because if you don't know that Dave Chappelle moment, here you go.
But I'm like, for real, why why you care so much what the Dixie Chicks say? It's not like they political scientists and nothing. They just bitches that can sing good. You know what I mean? Stop worshiping celebrities so much. Just don't listen, pay attention. I remember right around September 11th, Ja Rule was on MTV. That's what they said. They said, we got Ja Rule on the phone. Let's see what Ja's thoughts are on this tragedy. Who gives a fuck what Ja Rule thinks at a time like this, nigga? This is ridiculous. I don't want to dance. I'm scared to death. I want some answers that Ja Rule might not have right now. I think when bad shit happens to me, I'll be in the crib like, oh my God, this is terrible. Could somebody please find Ja Rule, get hold of this motherfucker so I can make sense of all this. Where is Ja?
Guys, so where is Ja? I want to show you guys something, man. Like, so I want to show you what's going on in Maryland. This is from my personal stuff, right? This is one of the houses I have in the city. It assesses at $336,000. Baltimore City property taxes is double any other county. So Baltimore City, if you don't know, is its own municipality. It's an independent city. It's not in a county. It's its own government. It's its own municipality. Higher than any other area in the state, Baltimore City's property taxes. So $7,500 a year. Well, $7,900 before the credits I tried to get. That's my property taxes. Let me go to the next one. My water bill. Water bills, for context, in Baltimore County, water bills are about, let's say, $50, $60 every 3 months.
Or zero if you have a well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's mine now. I have a well now. But $312.69 for 1 month of service. Now, the other part about this is crazy is I haven't been in this house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No one's
For
using water.
No, nobody's using my water. When you look at your water bill, there's these infrastructure charges that are enormous. Enormous. You're going to pay them regardless of whether you use sewer or you water flow. All right. Then this one, BG&E, these green energy policies that they've been pushing in Maryland have reduced the number of power plants that we have in the state. At the same time, they're trying to do this increase in quantum computing and build data centers, things that require more power.
But they want to pump it from Pennsylvania.
Well, look, man,
These are the energy bills. Mind you, I pay my bill on time. This is not carryover money from $679 was my August BGE bill.
And you weren't in the house then, right?
No, I was in this property then. So this is the new property. This is my new property.
Just for context, August bill, we're talking about a vacant property.
No, this is his new house.
Okay, so this is the new house?
This is the new house.
Got you. Okay.
But I mean, my other property was still a $300 bill. I just didn't show that one on
nobody there, right? Okay.
With nobody there.
Right.
That's insane.
And this right here is the last one. Again, where is Colin Kaepernick? Where is Colin Kaepernick?
Someone broke into your car?
So September 19th, 2023, there was a string of, not a string, but just people breaking into cars up the street. Going up the street, breaking into cars. 2 cars, both of my cars were damaged that day. I called the cops. They sent me to a call center, and the call center fields calls like this. I asked the cop on the phone, how many calls do you get like this a day? Right? He said, well, we handle about 10 to 12 calls every shift like this every day. There's 3 shifts in a day. So it's 30 to 36 of these calls every single day.
And it was at that point that I appeared over his shoulder in miniature form saying, didn't I tell you get the hell out of Baltimore City?
So, but listen, these are the issues a lot of Marylanders are facing. And granted, like I'm going to say, I always have a sense of gratitude, right? And I want to put this out there because I always have start with a sense of gratitude. Every time I'm able to pay my bills, that is a sense of a joy for me. Right. I'm blessed to be able to do these things.
Right.
But I'm also thinking about what's going on with a lot of people in these cities, right? And one of my attitudes is always, if I can't afford it now, how do I make more money? How do I make more? Right? Because we live in a world where we have those opportunities. We live in America where we have opportunities. But at the same time, I don't want to be wasting my money.
Right.
I don't want my money to be wasted. Right. But I will say this, because around this time is when this culture of less crime reporting started. Because again, this event happened September 19th, 2023. Again, there's a string of cars broken into, at least 10 cars on my block. Again, I called the police. No police came. They didn't even come to the neighborhood and say, hey, is there anyone with any footage? Any cameras? Let's look at this. No.
They don't care. Dude, they don't. 80+%, they don't recover anything.
But here's the thing. This is what goes into those reduced stats, reduced crime numbers, because no one is calling. This is creating a social condition to not call the police.
Ferguson. Welcome to the end of the Ferguson effect. This is the other end of what happens when you punish police for policing.
Mm-hmm. That's true. They
don't care anymore. They just go to work to collect a paycheck. You're no longer a cop because you believe in justice. You're a cop to get paid. Look again, like you have this very high belief that society isn't filled with dregs and bottom feeders. Not you, Tyrone. I'm the man above me. You believe that the society is not filled with an overwhelming amount of dregs and bottom feeders. I hate to break it to you. They don't care about your crime. You're no one important to them. You're no one important to the city in that sense. So there's no one's going to jump up and down because you lost $150. That's $150 plus 10 times over in just that one block. It happened. You're saying in that precinct, it happens 30 times a day. Across the city, that means it happens 300 times a day.
But when you put that in perspective and they're talking about crime is down, when you put that in perspective,
everyone knows they're lying because
everyone knows it.
Everything was smash and grab and all the stealing because they don't call it shoplifting anymore. You know, when entire stores are shutting down because it's just not safe for the employees and whatever, and the crime rate and all that. And then they're telling you crime is down. It's because, all those guys who destroyed all that commercial area, none of them got charged with a crime. So none of that crime is counted in that statistic. So everything they complained about isn't in the stats.
But where's Colin Kaepernick when you need him? I mean,
he didn't build AI for crime stats. He built AI to indoctrinate kids with left-wing he's the spokesperson for left-wing reading propaganda. That's it. Dude, that's what you're the one who tells everyone to read the communism stuff, playbook, and all those different things to be aware of it. This is communism. As the culture burns, they offer you distractions so that eventually everyone's forced to revolt. That's it. That's all that's going on. The same thing you've been warning people about for the 5 years I know. Here we are 5 years later. No one's done anything.
The crime stats are definitely a lie around the country. You'll notice a couple of things. Number one, all the blue cities that have been plagued by crime for decades, Notice how they all started to say that their crime numbers were down around the same time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. So we have got active investigations in DC and Chicago surrounding the reclassification of crime data from violent felonies down to misdemeanors. We on the Soldiers of Finance channel, we've done several videos about this. Not only that, Congressman Jim Comer has initiated an investigation of the Biden era FBI because even they were declassifying and outright omitting crime data to make things look and appear safer than they really are. People, I implore you, every time one of these mayors comes out or police chiefs and says that crime is lower, there needs to be a RICO investigation, a RICO grand jury convened at the federal level, because these, somewhere along the line, they are reporting this data up, okay? And there's got to be a document out there somewhere where some police chief is signing off on that says, I attest to this upon penalty of perjury, okay? So they're doing this old Soviet trick where, oh, crime doesn't exist. But if you walk down, North and Poplar Grove, you'll see that the data is absolutely false. Not only that, CNN just did a survey in DC. 91% of respondents in DC said that crime is out of control.
Wow. And where's Colin? Where's Colin?
Dude, again, why are you? He is a stuffed shirt. Like, you're assigning too much to Colin Kaepernick.
No, I'm not.
He's a shirt. He's just a walking, talking spokesperson for some form of propaganda for the machine to consume. He's just getting a paycheck. He's there because of his star recognition and left wing. Like, he's just a celebrity. He's a pawn in the game that he's there so that they can say Colin Kaepernick's thing. And
all right, but listen, where's Ja? Where's Colin? So Colin was at this event in Ocean City, Maryland, to tease a partnership with his Lumi AI or something like that.
Reading program.
Yes,
a reading program.
It's a creative. It says this. Hold on, I will pull it up. I actually have it here. It's a Lumi story AI to democratize storytelling, and it's crazy because a lot of these
to remove
politicians
from storytelling,
a lot of these politicians are aligning themselves with people who hate America, who hate the country. So to me, it's like, how are we really wanting to solve problems if you don't even like the place that you are? Right.
Dude, they want to revolt. It's not that they don't like the place. They want to be in power. They want it their way. They want, like, this is the same thing that happens everywhere else where a form of Marxism is trying to take root. Like, dude, that's what you were one of the biggest proponents of it. It feels weird to be telling you about this, sir.
No, I agree, man. But this is we have to expose this, right? Because this is what the jig is in context of this conversation. It's what the jig is, right? And we got to call
it up a while, dude.
Huh?
That's what I'm saying. Is like, at this point in time, if people are still ignorant, they're gonna stay ignorant. It's been staring us down the back. Minimum for the last 8 months, everything's been exposed thanks to the antics of Trump. Everything.
So are you suggesting that we stop talking about these issues?
No, I'm suggesting we stop thinking that there are toasters that can be reached and only talk to the people who are like-minded and already on the battlefield. Because if you're not already in the game, then it's too late for you, bro. I'm sorry. Like, look around. You just showed the cost of living in what used to be a very reasonable place to live a decade ago.
Right.
And that was when he was fucking it up before the last time, McAuliffe or whatever the fuck his name, right? And when he ran up the tax bill for everyone, that's what got Hogan elected. And even then, it was still a much more affordable place to live. Like, well,
Right.
dude, we are at a tipping point in history, boys and girls. This is what I've been saying all year. This was the whole dark horse thing, is we're not at the point in the story where the horse is outside the gates. We're at the point in the story where they're burning down the city, running around, raping and graping and pillaging and all that jazz. That's where we are. That's why it's this bad. That's why things are this messed up, because people have to recognize at what point on the storyline we're at.
Mhm.
Well, I think that, to your point, a lot of this, like in Maryland, for example, you can make the argument that you're not going to vote your way out of it because of the makeup of the electorate. So, as you know, I'm a proponent for just voting with your feet and your wallet and taking your money to where it's treated better. And the blue states, look, California, the states have a balanced budget amendment, okay? They can't run deficits, or they're not constitutionally supposed to, like the federal government can, because the states can't print money. But yet and still, California's operating under a deficit.
Maryland.
Okay. And what did they do with those deficits? They just
Carry them as budget lines.
What you showed, Logic, okay? Watch what happens to those numbers next year this time.
Mhm.
Because we're going to have another deficit for next year. And on top of that, what also is going to contribute to that is the liability case for the juvenile justice facilities, okay? So that's going to be in the billions of dollars on top of the already baked in deficit that we're going to have. So you ain't seen nothing yet.
Have
All right.
you seen the roads around Maryland? You definitely
All of you two better have an exit. And when I say exit strategy, you can't escape it by moving to a different county in Maryland. You got to get the hell out of the state, because ultimately, right now, on average, 37%. That is what the average Marylander pays in taxes, 37%. Okay. What will that be by 2030?
50.
You're looking at 50%.
Yeah. Dude, it's craziness.
Guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button, share this video, subscribe. Again, we're Just the Guys podcast, and our goal mission is to bring back shame. I missed Reason's super chat. Shout out to Reason with the $5 super chat. Only Monkeys Litter. And he was saying, hey, Kung Fu, with me being out is awesome that you could be there. So shout out to Kung Fu for joining us tonight as well. I do want to shift gears just a little bit. We're still in Maryland, but Westmore, because the big topic this week has been really about the National Guard being in D.C. and being threatened to be in other states. I mean, in other cities around the country. Now, a lot of the Democratic mayors, or they're Democratic cities. All of these cities tend to have black mayors, so there's the perceived racial component of this. So my first question to the group, right, is it really a racial issue? Is there some tinge of truth to what these Democrat mayors are saying? Is it, or do black people not deserve safety in their streets?
Well, I'll go. We did a video about this morning, Soldiers of Finance. We've been covering just that issue. The stats, again, I point you to the CNN survey. They say that 91% of DC residents think crime is out of control. 65% of black women agree with that. So over 50% of black women. But at the same time, you have had a lot of vocal black DC residents over the past week come out in favor of Trump's move. Very vocal, unashamed to say, hey, look, this is good. But you also have a contingent in the black community that they've just been programmed to whatever a Republican does, it's, reject it, especially if it's Trump, right?
Mhm.
This is how juvenile we've become. This is where we're at in a large aspect of society. So today, okay, you got Trump trying to negotiate peace with Russia and between Russia and Ukraine, right? Now, I think everybody would like to see peace, no matter which side of the argument you're on. You say, "Hey, look, we want an end to the carnage," right? And then all these other issues we can hash it out, diplomatically. But you've actually got liberals out there who are saying things, basically promoting more war because they don't want to give Trump credit for ending a war.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this same mindset is out here basically saying, oh, and it's the Adams Morgan crowd, okay? A bunch of affluent white liberals down in DC who, if all three of us, especially me and you, Logic, if we turn these hats backward and walk through Adams Morgan a few hours from now, they're going to call the police on us, okay? From the anonymity of their homes, all right? But it's okay for Southeast to be terrorized by black men who are poisoning their own communities for money, black men who are carjacking black women, working black women, okay? All of this is okay. Yep. They don't see it. It's invisible. James Baldwin, the invisible man. Okay, this is what we have with this issue. A bunch of white liberals who they know too. They also know that, yeah, it happens, but the propensity for a black hoodlum to attack a white person is low. Okay. Now, you and I, Logic, we can't walk down north in Pennsylvania after a certain time. Okay?
I mean, you wouldn't want to.
Right.
And true story. In 2011, I actually moved to North in Penn. I lived on North in Pennsylvania Avenue. 1659 West North Avenue was my address. If you Google it right now, it's a boarded up property. It was one night I went to the Chinese carryout, and it's 11 o'clock at night. Now, mind you, this place opens up at 10 p.m. Like that's what time it opens. So go to the Chinese place. I order my food. I'm waiting. I get my food, and I'm on the way out of the restaurant. And as I'm on the way out, some guys were walking in. I kind of move out the way and say, just being polite, say, "What's up, bro?" Just nothing major. And then next thing I know, I was tussling. I was in a fight. Like 2011, this happened. And yeah, so what you're saying is, why we're saying this happened 14 years ago, the culture has not changed.
Right. And let me point out something Sound of Music's 33 said. Where did all the cocaine come from to poison black communities? I don't know. But just because I don't care really where it came from. Doesn't matter. That doesn't obligate our people to sell it.
Right.
So you can enlighten me as to, I'm well familiar with the CIA's operations and, Iran Contra. Okay, but that doesn't mean we have to sell it. So that's the thing that gets me a lot of times with black folks is the white supremacy narrative is pushed by blacks. It's like anything a white person tells us to do or suggests we do, we have to do it. So if a white person dumps coke in your neighborhood, you gotta sell it. You gotta distribute it, right? It's like, where is our own agency?
Accountable. See, the worst. I'm sorry, but the worst part of all this is not that the white worship, that nonsense is its own problem. It's that they use that white worship to not hold accountable the worst of yours. And then that way, the worst of yours gets a free pass to do 14 years of screwing up your community since that day, sir.
Look, and Sound of Music also brings up a good point here with his or her. I'm not sure. Forgive me. Next comment. Why has America been allowed to promote music about selling drugs? Hey, look, I've got a big problem with what hip hop has turned into. I'm old enough to remember when hip hop was about two things. It was about consciousness and parties. Okay, that's what it was about. And then in '89, NWA came out. And look, I'm not going to act like I didn't, honestly, West Coast to me is the best coast when it comes to rap, right? But the music was misogynist. It introduced that whole thing, misogyny into mainstream music, misogyny, glorification of incarceration, drug culture, all of that came with that, that gangster rap genre. And look, okay, Sound of Music, you're right in that I have not yet identified any other genre of music that glorifies self-destruction of the audience for that music. Now, I will say that we listened to it, and we were kids, okay? And we would pop in an NWA cassette, but guess what? Our parents and grandparents, if they caught us listening, they would be held to pay. They didn't want us to do that, okay? And we were
now they don't. Now that doesn't exist.
We were able to separate, look, Christopher Reeve flew around on the screen like Superman, okay? But we knew damn well that that was just a character. So I do agree that what hip hop turned into, okay, it went from Kid and Play and Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. It went from that to total destruction. Repetitious lyrics about nothing other than who's a lady? Do you still have R&B stations? Like R&B got devastated, right?
Yeah,
Love songs and that sort of thing.
Even those are not the same anymore.
One end of the equation, gentlemen. The consumers.
But it is an equate. It is.
But the consumers pay for it. People didn't stop. The parents didn't prevent. Like the money came by the boatload, and then by the more boatload till it was normalized and mainstream, and now you have mothers and daughters twerking next to each other for TikTok.
And look, here's another. You bring up a good point because traditionally, I haven't checked it in a few years, but hip hop, the community that was actually the biggest audience by sales was white people. Okay, but they knew how to separate the music, the lyrics. It just didn't work for them.
Let me ask this. Hold on. Let me ask this. Hold on. Let me ask this. Hold on.
They ingested it.
Hold on. How are we forced to listen to this music?
We're not, because there came a point where I'm listening to this and I'm like, wait a minute. I can't listen to this with a lady in the car. I'm working a corporate job, okay? And I'm calling myself a Christian. This ain't working. And so it like a lot of things, you mature out of it. I always say, you got these acts out here,
no one
like the OJs and the Commodores, timeless stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But you can't take your wife. I know Biggie is dead, but you if he was alive, you're not taking your wife of 20 years to a Biggie concert.
No, that's not true. Today, someone would. No, okay. I disagree.
So hold on, Gimpy. So I don't think so. Not the people that I associate with.
Mm-hmm. Black people, so you're a better class of person.
Matured out of that.
Right,
Yeah,
but most
so
people didn't. In fact, the white community absorbed it. Look at how white fashion and trends all started to cycle around ghetto gangster rap and that community, because that became the most prominent culture or subculture to come out of the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. I'm sorry, like that. The consumer created this by spending their endless money on it and absorbing every aspect into it Hellenistically as possible. You guys,
And
like,
here's the thing, right?
The personal responsibility is demonstrated by the people, like you say, use your feet and your dollars. If people did not buy, if the white folk didn't buy the ghetto gangster rap, they wouldn't have kept selling it. There are plenty of things they try and sell to the public that doesn't take off.
Yep. So
I'm
sound of
sorry,
music.
you have to stop thinking that we're not ultimately responsible for what we do individually. Yeah. I spend my money. You spend your money. If you don't want to be involved in it, you don't want your kids involved in it, you will do like our parents used to, like you were talking about. But that doesn't happen anymore. Instead, you have mother, daughter, and grandmother twerking on TikTok for multi-generational likes.
So
I'm sorry. That's again. This is what I mean. Until everyone is willing to admit that they are running around the goddamn city, burning down the houses, pillaging and looting, we're never going to fix the problem, folks.
So Sound of Music says, what is the alternative? What is the alternative at Logic? Well, the alternative is choice, right? So and the alternative to his question, or I don't know if you're a man or woman, Sound of Music. The alternative to this question is the belief, or let me say, the spirit behind this question is the belief that you're always being controlled, right? And you have no agency. So if we're talking about this idea of white supremacy, then it's like there's no hope for the black community if we can't make our own choices. If we can't say, I'm going to turn off the radio, period. That's all you gotta do. That's literally all you gotta do. I don't have to use the electricity. I don't have to tune in. And, this kind of idea of like, we have to constantly be entertained, whether it's with music or what have you, it is a false, narrative being pushed. Right. And then, and it's, to me, that is the frustrating part of this, because we talked about it last week. Like, what do black people want? Do you want to say you have agency, or do you want someone else to give you everything, right? Because ultimately, and this is why shame is so important, and we have to not just because the current culture is lost. The existing culture cannot be saved, right? This is why we have to establish a new culture, because the new culture is going to say, you have the choice on whether you get to choose this music or not. You have the choice on whether, you're going to go along with the status quo politician or not. You have a choice on what you're going to feed your body, feed your mind, feed your spirit. You have a choice in that. And to suggest anything else, you're giving up your agency, and you're not part of this new culture that we created, first off. So to me, I'm tired of hearing the excuses. Well, the white man this, white man that. We're being brainwashed. Yes, because you keep turning it on. Yes.
Dude, and by admitting this, by saying this, you're basically saying you're a sheep.
Yes.
Right? That you're not strong enough to resist some flashing colors of light. I'm sorry, like that's literally what you're saying. Some auditory stimulus and flashing colors of light are more powerful than your personal will and agency. That's what this means. And millions upon millions of people buy into this bullshit. And that's what I'm saying. Until we recognize that's how far down the rabbit hole we've gone.
So who has media power? You
right.
do. You do.
Right. With your dollars.
Where you tune in. If you don't want to see it, turn it off. And it starts with you. You can't turn somebody else's TV off. Don't worry about them. Right? This is why we said we're establishing a new culture, a new way we do things. We turn the TV off when it doesn't suit positive energy, like where we're trying to go, building, creating, investing. If it doesn't align with those values, turn it off.
S-Files, right? You could do that. You could download your own music. I mean, there's never been a time in history where we've had more choice over what we listen to musically, or what we consume as far as movies and television shows.
Correct.
There used to be a time where radio stations and TV stations, they told you what you were going to watch. And furthermore, they said, you better have your ass in the seat
at this
at
time.
8 o'clock, okay? Or else you're going to miss it. And we're going to give you 2 minute, 20-second, 2 and 2 breaks every so often during the show. You can run and get a snack, but we're starting promptly. There's no pause button, okay?
Yep.
We're starting promptly after the commercial. So to Sound of Music, look, I mean, you've got Sirius XM radio where they have damn near a dozen R&B channels that you can choose from. I mean, hell, sometimes I ride around in the car and I don't turn on anything.
Yeah.
I'm at home I'm comfortable with myself. Okay. Yeah. And I really encourage people to do this. My wife does this a lot. You get in the car with her, she's playing classical music, and it immediately has a calming effect on you, Mm-hmm. So there are other choices. And as Logic said, and I think Gimpy alluded to it as well, this is 2025. You make the choice. You don't like what they're doing?
Dude.
You make the choice.
Dude, this is what I mean. Are you a victim, Sound of Music? Keep playing the victim. I'm a survivor. Life is hard. Shit happens. You have terrible things happen every day. We all got to get up, pay our bills, live our lives, and take every moment to the fullest. It doesn't matter who has the power. If you want the power, build an army and seize the means. Everyone has a choice every minute of every day and how you live, including in how you die. You might not control when or how, but how you face it, you will be able to choose that, dude. Yep. Welcome to the real world. Nothing is easy. No one's going to give you anything for free. And if you're expecting handouts and whatever, you're going to live in this victim mentality and never get anywhere. But the fact is, I'd rather be a survivor every day of the week.
Yep. I think the audience knows, and I know I discussed it with you guys several times. It's going on 16 years now that we have not had television. Okay. And I haven't watched local network or cable news in that time. Okay. It's funny because people will call us and say, hey, it's going to snow tomorrow, right? And we're like, oh, we didn't know that. Okay. And guess what? We are just fine. Mm-hmm. You don't need these various apparatus that have been, remember the old days, you used to go in and everybody would watch the evening news. You had to pay close attention to what Walter Cronkite and Peter Jennings were saying. Okay, we've been programmed into that. We got rid of TV damn near, it'll soon be, in a few more years, it'll be 20 years without it. And we are just fine. We talk. We read. Okay? We pop in a DVD of something that we want to see, right? We're fine. So the choice is with you.
Yep, absolutely. So sound of music, we appreciate you chiming in, man. One man can't build an empire. And that's true. We're not disagreeing with that, but what we're saying is we're not trying to save the existing. We are building a new, right? So guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button.
It's about yes, communist.
Share this broadcast. Don't forget we're part of the Metro Conservative Media family. We got the other shows, Poppin' Politics. They're punching, getting it on 200,000 subs. So shout out. And Christian Conservative just passed 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. So shout out to them. And All American Talk is doing well. They're live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. And then, of course, you got us here on Saturdays at 6:30. Guys, I want to I've really got to get to Westmore because I want you guys just to give some feedback. And he was on Fox and Friends suggesting that Trump should follow Maryland's lead on public safety. Now, we're all here in Maryland. And I was standing right next to Westmore at the event in Ocean City. And, this guy's a clown. I mean, he's just a clown.
Did you call him Zest to his face? I would have. I would say, hey, what's up, Zest?
But it was loud in there. And speaking of, Colin Kaepernick gave the speech at the event. Nobody heard him. The event was so loud. It was ridiculous. Like, it was really literally a photo op. It was a nice place, nice sunset. It was a rooftop. It was a nice venue, but absolutely no one heard a word what Colin Kaepernick said. But more on that later. But let's go ahead and add here. So Moore should follow. Moore says Trump should follow the lead, and we're just going to play a little bit of this.
President is taking right now. When you look at the numbers right now, the most dangerous cities list, Baltimore is on number 4 of that, and when it comes to the murders, it's number 3. Now I know you have been surging resources to Baltimore, investing in the police there.
Now, before we continue with this, it is important to note that last year, Baltimore was not on the list of most dangerous cities. They celebrated it to no end. And also they celebrated an increase in population of about 741 people, which, equates to about 0.1% increase in population. But this year, notice that Baltimore is back on the list of most dangerous cities, but it happened at a time where all these cities have kind of magically reduce the numbers at the same rate, doing the same things. They're all Democrat matters and generally led by black people.
Mm-hmm. But you don't like the actions that the president is taking right now. Why?
Well, when I came in, I said that the number one priority that we had as administration was to make sure that our communities were safe. Before I became governor, for the 8 years before I became the governor, Baltimore City went 8 straight years of 300 plus homicides. The year before I became the governor, Baltimore City averaged about a homicide a day. And I said, I refuse to be a governor who's going to spend my time offering eulogies and giving thoughts and prayers, that we actually need to have resources and coordination that was going to help to fundamentally address the problem. As people of my state have learned, I don't come from a political background. My background is I'm a soldier. Mm-hmm. And so what we did was we made historic investments in local law enforcement, that we invested over $50 million in the Baltimore City Police Department alone, that we made historic.
Now, so allegedly they're investing more money into police, but there's fewer cops.
There's a cop shortage in Baltimore, 1.
Yeah.
2, the money they invested is all in non-policing stuff.
Yeah, it's like admin.
It's all bullshit bureaucracy. Remember, Baltimore is the city where they have to get permission to pursue a suspect.
Yeah, and they have to bring a supervisor to do an arrest.
Oh, they have to have a supervisor everywhere now.
Yeah.
All right, let me just jump in here. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy.
That's more, by the way.
That right. The video wasn't sped up. He actually talks like he's on coke.
But I did speed the video up a little bit.
He's not responsible for any decrease in crime. It is to the credit of a man by the name of Ivan Bates,
mm-hmm.
who is the state's attorney for the city of Baltimore. Okay, now Ivan Bates, in cooperation with the U.S. Attorney's Office of Maryland, they've worked together to take a lot of the really dangerous repeat violent offenders off the street.
Yep.
All right, they've done an excellent job of that.
Bill number 4 for murders.
Right, and don't let them fool you, okay? Because we got Chicago,
100% spike in youth crime, and that's just
right. You got carjackings that are out. Baltimore did 201 murders last year, and they are crowing about it. Chicago, they did 573 murders last year, and they are printing that on Chamber of Commerce brochures like it's something to celebrate. Okay,
this is insane. Like, this is what I mean. They're lying to you people. You walk around outside, everything in Maryland is worse. The roads are worse. We have a huge $8 billion deficit, but everything, the entire quality of life in Maryland is in the gutter.
Yep.
It's in the gutter.
It is.
This guy is overseeing the biggest fraud that will ever be. But you know what? His supporters don't care. They like what he says. They like that he's a smarty-arty black dude. They feel socially empowered and self-legitimized in their left-leaning beliefs, because this guy can get up here and say, because we don't record or arrest about a third of the people committing crimes on purpose, the numbers are lower. This dude is a clown.
And listen,
technology.
The other reason why we're discussing this is because, some of the audience might be saying, well, yeah, that's interesting, but that's Maryland. This guy has his eyes set on the White House.
Being president in 2028.
Right.
He's in predictive analytics and saying if someone commits a violent crime, particularly with a firearm, I want them in handcuffs in 24 hours. And saying that we made historic investments in our community groups, working with the mayor, working with our county executives, working with the community groups and our violence intervention and violence interruption groups to making sure we can stop crime before it happens and making sure we don't have this retaliatory cycle of violence. And while I know that we still have more work to do, I also know this, is that despite the fact that the year before I became the governor, Baltimore City, again, had a historic streak in violence, that now that the last time the homicide rate was this low in Baltimore City, I was not born yet. So we're making real progress where Maryland is now amongst the fastest dropping states in this country on violent crime. I'd
say you're lying with statistics, sir.
Yeah,
give him another Bronze Star.
Yeah, this is Stolen Valor, Westmore.
Dude, he's a clown, this guy.
But it's important to call this out because he's first off, he's preying on the emotion again, right? He's a black man that's up there. He identifies with the complainers, and he has no substantive answers. He's literally reading or memorizing and regurgitating the script. Like when you listen to Brandon Scott speak, when you listen to matter of fact, I encourage anyone to do this experiment. Listen to any mayor, any Democrat city mayor, and hear the exact words that they use. You could upload this into ChatGPT. Just take a couple of their speeches, upload them into ChatGPT, create your own GPT, and then you can write your own speeches and sound just like these guys. Like I guarantee it.
But he's the champion. He uses a shitload of words to say absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's what they all do because it makes you sound smart. Let's see what else.
The people of DC feel the same way. The people of Philly feel the same way. I'm just curious why you've been so critical of the administration trying to solve this problem. Is it the process that you don't like? Because it looks like they're doing the same thing that you're doing, which is surging resources to the city.
It's because I'm proud to be the 63rd governor of the state of Maryland, and I'm honored to be the commander.
You hear that response?
None of that has to do with the fact he's legally doing what he's doing in DC. This is what I'm saying. Even Muriel Bowser was forced to admit everything is better because of this. This is the legal way. Like, dude, this guy, we should be allowed to just slap him across his face every time he speaks.
Pop, pop, pop.
The Maryland National Guard. I stand with the remarkable men and women who have raised their hand, these citizen soldiers, who frankly are trained to fight and win our nation's wars. The people who, in times of...
I mean, like, what the hell does any of that have to do with what he's saying? Dude,
nothing.
He asked him, is he not doing the same thing you did by surging resources? Why aren't you okay with it? Because the answer is, I'm not okay with it because it's Donald Trump doing it. Since you can't say that, he will say everything else but that.
Emergency and in times of crisis.
No, go ahead, play it.
That I have the unique authority and the unique ability to mobilize them, and where I have done so as the governor of the state of Maryland, whether it is historic floods that we've seen in Western Maryland, or whether it's the fact that I still currently, right now, have men and women who are deployed overseas doing operations. This is something that I take very seriously, particularly as someone...
You don't have men and women deployed overseas. Who do you think dude? That is... He's saying this like Maryland decided to wage war on the Marshall Islands. I don't know. Okay, I've got to station overseas. Okay. Wow.
Again, this is why you can't, like, every time he speaks like this, constituents should be allowed to walk up to their politicians and slap them across the face for talking like this to us. Dude, he thinks we're all stupid.
He does.
Again, the question is, why aren't you okay with Donald Trump doing what appears to be what you just admitted to doing in Baltimore, in DC.
This is liberal, textbook liberal logic. Right?
This is TDS. This is full frontal TDS that you're witnessing.
Right, Draco.
The Maryland Navy is out and about.
Dude, it's this is ridiculous. It's like these people are not serious. They're going to be victims of their own stupidity, and they're going to drag the whole country down with it. That's what's going to happen.
Absolutely. I want to continue, man, because this gets really good because some of his responses later on are really amazing. Hold on.
Who's worn the uniform, particularly as someone who's had to say goodbye to my family, particularly as someone who has had to trust the judgment of the commander-in-chief, knowing that the decision that they made was one that had not just the best interest of the national security in mind, but the best interest of me and my family. And so all I'm saying is this, is if we want to have a serious conversation about violent crime, we can have a serious conversation about violent crime. And I would love to be able to share the multitude of things that we are doing in the state of Maryland, where we are surging support for local law enforcement, surging support for predictive analytics and technologies, surging supports for community groups, and allowing more supports for the mayor and the county executive and the people on the ground doing the work. And we were able to receive some really encouraging and historic results in Baltimore and around the state of Maryland. And I never once had to mobilize the National Guard in order to accomplish those feats.
Governor, it's a different warning.
I hope he continues. You know, he's heavy on, I served. Okay, great. I hope he continues to lean on that because that hasn't worked well for Democrats. Ask John Kerry about that. Okay?
Yeah, but even
Webb about that.
But think about the people that are serving now that are taking this duty seriously, right? It almost like positions his service as that of one that's more noble than the service members that are out there now that are being called to protect the streets. I mean, when you think about it, like I served, and the you know, and then because Trump's calling men and women the National Guard, we got to personify them because they are people now going out in uniform to protect and serve
the nation,
right? So when you're saying
not oil interests. The nation.
Yes, I served. When you're saying I served in this manner, you're also demonizing the people that are out here recognizing that crime is high, recognizing that one murder is too many, one carjacking is too many, one burglary is too many.
And what he's also doing is he's attempting to disqualify. You know, they always talk about how much they love democracy, right? Mm-hmm. But he's attempting to disqualify Trump by saying, well, he hasn't served. Well, right, because our system does not require you to do so in order to occupy the highest office in the land. So Wes Moore has demonstrated that he also has a problem.
Again,
hold on, Gimpy, understanding the Constitution and the separation of powers.
Again, this guy just can't say, I hate Trump. See, this is the problem. We all are making these very well-spoken arguments about a much simpler fact. In today's day and age, people operate reflexively from an emotional response to something they hate. These Democrats hate Trump. They hate you and me. They hate you guys more than they even hate me, honestly. And although my people get the hate at a level that should compensate for that difference. But anyhow, that being said and done, this guy hates all of it. And he can't say the reason why I don't agree with it, even though I'm doing the same thing, is I hate the guy doing it. And giving him any credit would ruin any opportunity I have to undermine him and defeat him later.
Yep.
But because everybody here wants it to mean that there's some deeper, more meaningful thing in the world, there isn't. These people are consumed by their hate for Donald Trump. They have TDS. They do. They run around all day for 10 years now, making their entire lives about this one man. And he lives rent-free. And as a result, we all live rent-free in their heads every single day. Yep. And this is the result, because they can't just admit openly, we hate you. We want you gone from the country. We don't want to have a country with you in it. We just want you to be slaves here feeding the system. That's what they want to say.
Gimpy, I agree with you, but also two things can be true. So I think we got to be cautious, implying that there is no orchestration. And now I will agree with you that for the most part, they're just operating on, they're like the Borg. They just get a download and they go and do. Okay. I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. But at some level, there is orchestration that is taking place. Now, I will say this. The actual orchestration and the people they need to execute that have proven, like Wes Moore, to be very lackluster. Okay. So we have that. But I think we do have to kind of try to suss out the more complex aspects that are occurring at some level of this idea, of that ideology.
Okay.
Oh, I'm with you on that. I'm just saying, like, these guys, that the reason why they have to say so much to say nothing is because the answer is I hate this person. I hate these people. The people who I would have to give credit to for this, I hate them. So I will not give them.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Let's continue.
Now, there's more brothers dying here in these cities than overseas.
That's right.
So isn't it fair to have them there? And it's Democrats that agree with this measure. Don't take my word for it. The local cop there, the police chief, agrees with this. The mayor of the city agrees with this. And it's because people that look like me and you are dying.
No one needs to explain to me the pain that is taking place in so many communities. No one needs to explain to me the pain that is taking place in so many communities, urban, rural, and suburban, who are being besieged by this issue of gun violence, who's being besieged by this issue of chronically and generationally not feeling safe inside of your neighborhoods. And it's the reason that we have made it our top priority to make sure that people are feeling safe. But I can tell you right now, what people want more than anything in those communities is they don't want performative, they want performance.
All right, that's they don't want performative, they want performance. And here's the irony in this. The Democrats and people like Zesmore are the performance. Trump took inaction. Trump took action. These people like to put on a stage play. And as soon as you realize the stage play isn't the real thing, as soon as you realize it's Medea or, a wizard behind the curtains, they say, no, don't take my mask off yet. I still got more to feed you. I still got more tricks. It's like magicians that the show should be over, but they wanted to continue. They wanted to do that next magic trick. Oh, you didn't see all the tricks yet.
No, they're desperate to hold power, man.
Man, these
people are desperate for power. Desperate. It's desperate. Look at the looks in their face. They are desperate. In 8 months, he has dismantled a third, if not more, of their entire financial operation. Yes. Like, legitimately, he has dismantled it permanently.
But even before this,
and making themselves rich off of taxpayers' dollars. Dude, I'm sorry. These people have no idea what to do. And all they have is the hate for him and MAGA and us and everything that represents. And when you ask them questions, that the answer is I hate that I am powerless to what's going on around me right now because he figured out the system. You get this.
Yeah.
You're so right. You're so and even that response, I feel the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit, man. You don't, because you're imposing pain with your draconian economic taxation and fee scheme that you're not going to sit there and tell the nation about.
Nope.
Okay. So this is all that Oprah bullshit he learned by sitting there on the couch with her. Yep. This guy wrote a book called The Two West Moors, which is a bunch of BS.
He lied about
that, right?
Whole life.
A lot of questions still swirling about the Bronze Star. Okay. I don't know about anybody else, but when I think of Bronze Star, I think of Rambo. Okay. I think of like some really like harrowing,
like charging the bunker and throwing the grenade in and killing the Nazis. That's what I think when I think Bronze Star.
Yeah. And that ain't what he got it for. So There are questions around that. This guy is totally manufactured.
Mhm.
Okay. If you go back,
Obama.
If you go back and watch the version with Denzel, Frank Sinatra did it too. Manchurian Candidate. If you go back, they manufactured a candidate. This is, and they've been doing it for years. I get it, but he's the latest off of the assembly line.
Man, I think it's also interesting that Wes Moore, right, is allowed to hold the highest office in Maryland, right, without having a background in politics, right? But they use that argument against Trump. He's never been in office, right? So it's that selective outrage,
right?
Because you hear people complain, well, Trump's never been in office before. Trump's never not been a politician, but neither has Wes Moore.
Yeah, neither has Marjorie Taylor Greene, dude, we can name all sorts of people who never had political office before they had political office.
Yeah.
And for me, you holding political office, that's damn near a disqualifier in my book.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't vote for anyone more than twice. People want to talk about term limits. We already have them. They're called elections. You don't have to go in there and keep on putting the same.
But the system makes me. I mean, I'm learning that from tonight's audio. The system makes me. They bombard me with the ads from the guy that's running for office that makes me feel like I have to vote for him. I'm sorry.
Let's get through the list.
I'm totally out of my power when I cast my vote. It just happened.
Yeah.
I actually kind of blacked out during that period.
Not looking for someone to walk around with military fatigues and a big gun. They're looking for someone who actually understands how to make people feel safe and how to make people actually safe in their communities. Our National Guards are not trained for this. I'm very specific about my role as Commander-in-Chief of the Maryland National Guard, and we know the missions that they are trained for, and municipal policing is not one of them.
So I'll tell you
if we
this.
want to be serious about making people safe, let's actually do the things that make people safe.
I'm way over time, Governor. I'll do two things. I would ask you, this is going to be only for 30 days until Congress gets involved. So let's see the results. If the results are true, then we stay with it. But I would also ask you, can I come to Baltimore with you? I want to visit the community with you. I've been there many times. We'll walk the block together, and we'll figure out all the programs that you have suggested. I would love to meet all of them. But I also want to see the metrics as well. I want the impact to be there, and I hope you'll take me up on that offer.
Now, wagers on him taking him up on this offer. Do you think it will happen? What has a better chance of happening? The Cleveland Browns winning the Super Bowl in 2026 or Wes Moore?
The Cleveland Browns winning the Super Bowl with me as the running back, Gimpy as the quarterback, and you as the wide receiver.
Now, I can play football now.
Before Wes Moore takes him up on that offer. Has Wes Moore been to Penn North yet?
Not that I can recall. And why that's important, let me just bring this up. Soldiers of Finest, if you don't remember, a couple of weeks ago, there was what's called a mass casualty event in which at least 27 people overdosed
on fentanyl
or something related to it on a busy city in a notorious drug area. Then not even a couple days later, a few days, maybe a week later, there was reports of another overdose event where at least 4 or 5 people OD'd in the same area. Now, the question Soldiers just asked, has Wes Moore been to visit these areas? No, he has not. He has not. Now, I used to live on Penn North. Oh boy, that's
that's a nightmare for another episode.
Let me, because you mentioned that earlier, and I meant to bring it up then for the audience. Penn North. Have you ever seen the movie 187 with Samuel Jackson? The school at the beginning of that, where Method Man stabs Samuel Jackson's character. That's like Penn North, all day, every day. There's always something going on, and none of it is good. Okay, they have the nerve. It's like a joke. They have an ATM machine at Penn North, and it's a joke because anybody that uses it is either some crime lord or a damn fool. Okay. It's a hot spot for everything under the sun. So the fact that Logic lived there means he deserves Westmore's Bronze Star more than Westmore does.
Guys, this is the view of Pennsylvania and North from the Google cameras. They didn't blur any of this out. This is kind of maybe a slow day. It is a little slower.
It must be like 10 o'clock in the morning.
This right here is the CVS that was burnt down during the Freddie Gray riots.
Mm-hmm.
This is a welfare building or Social Security building or some type
The
of
ATM is on the side of the building he just showed.
Yep, right here. Oh, where is it?
I think it's on the other side.
Yep. It's in the building.
In that little alcove right there.
Oh yeah. Yep.
All right, guys, we've run long.
Yeah,
I got
man.
to run.
Unless they took it out. Okay. One thing before you get out of here, Gimpy. Go to the library. Go to the library. Okay, this is the library. This was the safest place to be during the Freddie Gray riots. It's almost as if people had an allergic reaction. The closer they got to the library, the books were like a force field projecting outward. And if you needed sanctuary, you could just run in there and hide behind a book and you were okay.
Yep. And by the way, that library is now closed.
Oh, it is? Wow.
Yep.
Dude, I got locked down Security Boulevard during the Freddie Gray stuff.
Are you serious?
In a government building. Yeah, they were riding across the street.
And guys, this is where I used to live.
Wow, he was in the trenches. Okay. He really was. What were you on, second floor?
Yeah, the second floor apartment.
Okay.
Right here. Yep.
Yeah, that's serious. That's the hood. Okay.
And you didn't own a gun? That's crazy.
Yeah. And it was funny. I had a warrant out for my arrest.
Of course you did. You're from
insurance
Baltimore.
violation when I was younger. Man, they found out where I lived, and here's the thing about culture, like the way it's the way you do things, man. And they busted down the door, because the cops don't know what the warrant is for. They just know there's a warrant for your arrest. They busted down the door. I was getting ready for work. They I'll never forget that day, man.
I bet.
Bang, literally busted down the door for me. They, got me in the back of the paddock. They did let me get dressed. I was cool. Granted, I was like, man, I'm just trying to go to work. It must be an insurance violation. I knew, but yeah, so it was crazy. But that's where I used to live, and the culture in the area, right? Same police precinct, Freddie Gray. The culture in the area is that they're used to dealing with people that are going to resist, run, cry to their mama, all that stuff. So, so I understood that when as this interaction was happening. They put me in the back of the paddy wagon and everything, spent the day in Central Boogie, man. That was tough.
Good. It must not have been a Friday.
Yeah.
No, that time it was not a Friday.
So they implied that one time you did get arrested on a Friday.
I got lucky because they processed me very quickly. But that was in Baltimore County, so that's a little different.
Totally different.
But guys, thank you for joining us tonight. Gimpy, final thoughts, man.
Positivity, folks. Positivity.
There you go. Soldiers, what you got going on this week, man?
We are looking tomorrow. We're going to take a look at Latoya Cantrell. She's been indicted federally down there in New Orleans. She's the first female and first female or black female for both categories. Second black mayor, Ray Nagin was the first, and the first mayor to be indicted while in office of New Orleans. So we've been following her. We're going to take a look at that because you will not believe how corrupt this woman was and how arrogant she was in misusing tax dollars, allegedly.
White supremacy. I mean, they forced her to do it.
Right.
But guys, remember, today the jig is up, guys. We have to, again, establish a new culture. Like these race hustlers, these grifters, are really just continuing down the same path we allow to happen. So now is the time we have to bring back shame. We are establishing a new culture, a new generation, that we want to protect our families. We want to build community. We want to, live free, right? Because a lot of people don't want to do that nowadays. But we're building a new culture to make those things happen. Make sure you stay tuned in, like, share, subscribe to Just the Guys podcast. And guys, always remember, only monkeys litter. Have a good night.